Who is she? 12 U.S. Rangers trapped in a kill zone, saved by a Navy SEAL sniper they never saw. The desert night holds its breath. 12 Rangers crouch in shattered mud walls, pinned by gunfire they never saw coming. Radios dead. Ammunition thinning. Hope fading. And somewhere beyond the dust, beyond the darkness, a single shot cracks the silence. A stranger's bullet. A stranger's hand. A stranger who should not exist. Dust hangs in the air like smoke from an invisible fire. Sergeant Mason Hale moves along the collapsed wall, one hand pressed to his bleeding shoulder, the other gripping his M4. Around him, the world is collapsing into gunfire and echoes. 12 Rangers entered this valley 30 minutes ago. Now they're barely holding on. The ambush came with impossible coordination. 3 PKM machine guns, overlapping fields of fire, mortars from the ridge, and snipers they never spotted. Someone studied them. Someone planned this kill zone with cold patience. Mason ducks behind a burnt truck as rounds chew through steel. Private Sanders screams for a medic. Corporal Ruiz returns fire blindly, cursing under her breath. They're trapped, boxed in by rock, dust, and unseen hands. Falcon 2, check in. Mason shouts into the radio. Static. Not broken. Jammed. The realization hits him with the weight of a falling building. Whoever planned this didn't just want them dead, they wanted them erased. No support. No air. No escape. He swallows fear the way soldiers swallow pain, fast without taste. Then, from a distant ridge, a single sharp crack cuts through the chaos. Not enemy. Different caliber. Different rhythm. Someone else is out there. Someone watching. The Rangers freeze as the valley shifts, almost imperceptibly. One of the PKM gun positions, the one pinning down Alpha Team, goes silent. Mason risks a peek. The gunner lies slumped over the sandbags, a dark hole where his temple used to be. Ruiz blinks. Who the hell did that? Sanders whispers. That shot came from R6. But nobody's behind us. Nobody friendly. Another crack. Clean. Precise. Another machine gunner drops, as if yanked by an invisible string. Mason feels the hairs on his neck rise. Snipers don't fire like this unless they own the field. Whoever is shooting has perfect elevation, perfect wind calls, perfect timing. Someone who knows how to turn chaos into order. Is that one of ours? Ruiz asks. No, Mason says quietly. We'd know. But he doesn't sound sure. Their own sniper, Specialist Brent Tucker, shakes his head. Angle's too high. Shot came from at least 1,600 meters, maybe more. That's not normal range. That's insane. Another shot. Another enemy falls. But this time, Mason catches something else. Movement on a far ridge. Too fast. Too hidden. Almost ghost-like. Who is she? Sanders murmurs, as if sensing something no one else can. But no one answers. The battle rages, but a strange rhythm emerges. Enemy fire surges, then cuts off abruptly, as if severed by an unseen blade. One by one, the ambush positions crumble, each taken down by a single distant shot. Tucker adjusts his scope, scanning the ridgeline. This is impossible. Nobody could have climbed that peak within the last 2 hours. The grade is vertical. Mason breathes slowly. Unless they were already there. A mortar round lands nearby, throwing dirt and heat into the air. Mason shields Sanders, the youngest of them, barely 19. Fear flashes in the boy's eyes. Rage follows. Helplessness sits between them like a stone. Another shot echoes, but this time it's different. Slower. More deliberate. As if whoever fired it needed to steady themselves, needed to gather strength. Tucker sucks in a breath. That's not just a sniper, that's a master. Mason studies the ridge again. A silhouette flickers. Small, lean, moving with fluid precision. Not bulky like a man weighed down with gear. Not hurried. Calm. Controlled. Ruiz squints. You thinking what I'm thinking? Mason nods slowly. That's a woman. The valley seems to inhale at the revelation. Whoever she is not supposed to be here. The Rangers regroup behind the wreckage of the lead vehicle. Mason presses a bandage to his shoulder, refusing morphine. He needs his mind sharp, every sense alive. Because something about this rescue, if it even is a rescue, makes no logical sense. Tucker keeps tracking the ridge. That rifle, it sings differently. Suppressed. Precision-built. Not Army. Not Ranger. Not Marine Scout sniper. This feels like... He stopped. Ruiz finishes the sentence for him. Navy SEAL. Mason frowns. We weren't assigned any SEAL attachments. Exactly, Tucker whispers. Another 3-shot sequence rings out, not frantic but methodical. 3 RPG carriers fall before they even aim. Sanders stares upward, voice trembling. Sir, who leaves their own unit, climbs a death ridge alone, and saves strangers? Mason exhales. Someone with nothing to lose. Behind them, an enemy sniper finally takes a shot at the mysterious figure. The round hits a rock inches from her hide. Dust explodes outward. Then she moves. A fluid slide, a shift of breath, a tiny adjustment, and fires once. The enemy sniper's rifle clatters down half a second after his body. Ruiz blows out a stunned whistle. Sir, she's better than our best. Mason doesn't disagree. The valley grows quieter. Not safe, never safe, but quieter. Controlled. The unseen sniper keeps carving pathways through the chaos, cutting down threats seconds before they strike. Mason tries the radio again. Nothing but static. They're still jammed. Still alone. Except they aren't. Tucker suddenly stiffens. Sir. I've got a visual. Everyone looks up. At the crest of the ridge, half hidden in blowing sand, a figure rises to one knee. Lean. Steady. Movements crisp with years of training. The rifle glints beneath the sun, custom-built, matte-coated, beautiful in a deadly way. And then the figure tilts their face just enough. The light hits. A jawline. A strand of brown hair whipping free. Eyes narrowed in relentless focus. A woman. No question now. Sanders whispers, what kind of sniper climbs a suicide ridge alone just to save people she's never met? Mason studies her through Tucker's scope. There's something familiar in the way she breathes. The way she sets her shoulders before every shot. The way silence clings to her like a second skin. She's not doing this for us, Mason says quietly. She's doing this for someone else. Ruiz frowns. Then why here? Mason's jaw tightens. Because the person she's protecting is one of us. The gunfire thins, but the danger thickens. Ambushes don't collapse quietly. Someone always notices the shift, always tries to regain control. Mason feels it in the vibration of the dirt beneath his boots, as if the valley itself knows something unseen is rewriting its fate. Tucker wipes sand from his eyes. Sir, I'm checking the roster again. There's no SEAL team in this district. 0 female operators deployed within 200 miles. Ruiz adds, even CIA doesn't run lone snipers out here. They travel with security. Always. Mason doesn't answer. He's thinking of the way she moves. Like someone who's fought too long, carried too much, and made peace with the consequences. Someone who breaks rules not to be a hero, but because the alternative is losing someone they love. Another shot interrupts his thoughts. A distant rooftop collapses as an enemy spotter drops. Perfect timing. Perfect angle. Whoever she is, she's watching every corner of the battlefield at once, mapping threats before they even appear. Sanders whispers, voice cracking, Sir, what if she's not supposed to be here? Like at all? Mason's jaw tightens. She isn't. Because no one moves like that unless they came here on their own. Without permission. Without backup. And without fear of dying alone. A sudden roar shakes the valley as a truck bursts through a side road, mounted with a DSHK heavy machine gun. The kind that turns walls into dust and men into memories. The gunner opens fire immediately, rounds ripping through stone and sand. The Rangers dive for cover. But Tucker isn't looking at the truck. He's focused on the man in the passenger seat. Sir, that's him. That's the one coordinating all this. Mason squints through the haze. A tall figure with hard edges, cold posture, and a headset, far too organized to be local militia. Not Afghan. Not Middle Eastern. Eastern European. Professional. A ghost from someone else's war. What's a foreign contractor doing running an ambush out here? Ruiz mutters. But Mason already knows the answer. He's training them. That's why this kill zone feels wrong. The truck turns its turret toward the Rangers. Sanders braces. Ruiz grips her rifle tighter. Mason whispers what every soldier whispers before the world breaks open. Hold. Before the turret can fire, another crack rings out. Not rushed. Not desperate. Surgical. The gunner drops. Then the driver. Then, the foreign sniper in the passenger seat jerks violently, falling sideways as a round finds him through a tiny gap in the window. 3 shots. 3 kills. In under 5 seconds. Silence smothers the valley. Ruiz breathes out, "Sir, nobody alive shoots like that." Mason finally speaks, the truth forming in his chest. Except a SEAL sniper who doesn't follow orders. The ambush collapses fast. Enemy fighters start falling back, shouting in panic, firing blindly toward the ridge. They've realized they're being hunted by someone who shouldn't exist. But Mason notices something else. She's not firing at all of them. Only the ones closest to a specific position. The east slope. The one that was supposed to be safe. Tucker, Mason says slowly, "Check that angle." Tucker adjusts the scope. His breath catches. "Oh God. Sir. Alpha Team's sniper is down. Look, his rifle's half buried. He must have been hit in the first 30 seconds. Mason feels cold settle in his bones. That position was supposed to cover their eastern flank. Without it, the ambush would have torn them apart even faster. "She knew," Mason whispers. "She knew our sniper was down before we did." Ruiz frowns. "How?" "Because she wasn't saving the whole platoon at first. She focused on that sector. That angle. That spot. The one where someone she cared about should have been." Sanders' eyes widen. "Sir, she didn't come here for us." "No," Mason says quietly. "She came for him." Ruiz swallows. "But if he's gone, why is she still here?" Mason answers softly. "Because love doesn't retreat." A lull settles over the battlefield, a suffocating quiet that soldiers know never lasts. Mason gathers his remaining Rangers, checking wounds, redistributing ammo, preparing for whatever comes next. He tries the radio again. Nothing but dead static. Tucker keeps the scope trained upward. "Sir, she's moving." They all look. The woman rises from her hide, not hurried, not reckless, but deliberate. She moves like someone carrying grief that hasn't found a place to land. Her steps are slow, controlled, almost ceremonial. Then she stops beside a collapsed shape on the ridge. A body. In Ranger camouflage. Face down. Motionless. Sanders murmurs, That's our sniper." Ruiz covers her mouth. "Oh no." The woman kneels beside him, her rifle resting across her lap. She touches the back of his helmet with a tenderness that shouldn't exist on a battlefield. Her shoulders shake once, barely visible, then still. Mason feels the truth settle like dust on a coffin. She knew him. Not casually. Not professionally. Deeply. "She's saying goodbye," Tucker whispers. Then they see her reach into her uniform, pull out something metal, and place it gently beside the fallen ranger. Dog tags. Ruiz's eyes fill. "Sir, who is she?" Mason answers without turning. "Someone who loved him more than the rules allowed." The enemies regroup. Panic shifts into rage. The foreign sniper is dead, but his fighters aren't finished. 2 remaining PKM teams reposition, trying to pin the Rangers against the canyon wall. RPGs arc through the sky. Dust blinds. Fear sharpens. "Everyone down!" Mason yells. The Rangers hit the dirt as explosions shake the valley. The kill zone is dying, but it wants to drag them with it. Tucker scans the ridge. Sir, she's exposed. If she stays there, they'll zero in. On the slope, the woman lifts her rifle again, but her posture has changed, steadier, colder. Grief pushed aside, replaced by purpose carved into bone. She fires. A PKM gunner drops. She shifts. An RPG carrier crumples. She reloads with emotion so fluid it feels like a prayer she's practiced her whole life. Ruiz watches through binoculars. Sir, she's not trying to survive this. Mason knows. She's finishing his fight. The last PKM swings toward her. A brutal angle. No cover. No forgiveness. Move! Sanders cries, as if she can hear him. But she doesn't move. She breathes in, steadies, and fires the cleanest, coldest shot they've seen all day. The PKM goes silent. So does the valley. Mason whispers, barely audible. She's buying us our lives. The train whistles in the night. Amon stands at the doorway, wind slapping his face, eyes burning, not from the cold, but from the weight of everything he's finally willing to admit. Behind him sits the life he tried to escape. Ahead of him waits the man who made him believe escape was possible. He closes his eyes. He sees Arib's smile. He sees his father's broken hands. He sees Hafsah's quiet courage. He sees every moment he avoided, every truth he buried, every wound he pretended didn't hurt. The train rattles. He feels, maybe for the first time in his life, what it means to be responsible for the damage he leaves behind. And in that moment, he finally understands. Running doesn't make you free. Facing yourself does. He steps down from the train before it moves again. The night feels colder, but his heart feels strangely lighter. Because for once, he's not choosing the easier road. He's choosing the right one. The village is asleep when Amon walks back in. A few dogs bark. A lantern flickers outside a small shop. A single bulb glows at the corner house where old Tariq snores like a diesel engine. But mostly there is silence. Amon walks through it like a man returning to the ruins he once set on fire. When he reaches his home, his mother is sitting outside, holding her dupatta tight around her shoulders, eyes fixed on the gate. She doesn't speak. She doesn't move. She just looks at him. For a second, Amon is a child again. Scared. Lost. Ready to lie. But something in him refuses to be that boy anymore. He kneels, places his forehead on her hands, and whispers, "I'm sorry." No dramatic crying. No big scene. Just 3 words that hit harder than any speech ever could. His mother closes her eyes. A tear slips, and she whispers back, "Bas wapas aa gaya. Bas yehi kafi hai." Sometimes forgiveness is not a sentence. It's a sigh. And tonight that sigh saves him. His father is awake, sitting by the cold stove, hands clasped, back straight, jaw locked. He looks like a mountain Amon has been afraid to climb his whole life. Amon walks in quietly. His father doesn't look up, and for a moment, the silence between them feels like a battlefield. Finally, Amon speaks. "Abba, I was wrong. Bohat Galat." His father still doesn't look at him. Amon continues. "I thought strength was loud. I thought freedom meant leaving. I thought winning meant having more than others." He takes a deep breath. "But you worked in silence. You stayed when it was hard. You carried all of us even when no one carried you." A long pause. Then his father raises his head. His eyes are tired, but not angry. "You learned late," he says softly. "But you learned. And that is enough." Amon swallows. Relief, guilt, gratitude, everything mixes in his throat. And his father adds one line that breaks him completely. "Beta, Ike Bapkas Sabasi Bara Inam Yahoda Hai, Kuuska Beta Asasi Beitar Banri." Amon nods. Tonight, he finally begins. The sky is pale blue. Birds hop on the dusty road. A breeze carries the smell of fresh parathas from someone's tawa. Amon's feet automatically take him to the old bridge, the one place where everything began. Arib is there. Feet dangling over the edge. Same crooked smile. Same ridiculous hair. He doesn't turn when Aman approaches. He just says, "So, 2 wappies, AA Gaia." Aman sits beside him. "I had to." Arib nods. "Good. Because this time we build things. We don't burn them." Aman laughs. A real laugh. The first in weeks. And in that moment, he understands. Every journey needs at least one person who refuses to give up on you, even when you've already given up on yourself. Arib was that person. The friend who stayed. The mirror he avoided. The voice he didn't listen to. But now he will. Because Aman finally knows the difference between a friend who agrees with you and a friend who saves you. Weeks pass. Aman wakes before sunrise. Helps his father repair old engines. Fixes wiring for neighbors. Learns. Fails. Learns again. No shortcuts. No skipping step. No illusions. Every day he rebuilds something. Sometimes a machine, sometimes a relationship, sometimes a part of himself. One evening, Hafsa crosses the road holding a stack of papers for her school project. Aman steps aside to let her pass. She pauses. Smiles. "You changed." Aman looks down, almost shy. "Bs koshishkar raha hun." She nods. "Sometimes, that's all someone needs to do." And she walks away. Aman doesn't follow. He doesn't expect anything. He just watches her go, feeling something warm in a place he once thought was hollow. He whispers to himself, "This time, I'll earn every step." Life doesn't always give you a dramatic turning point. Sometimes it gives you a quiet night, a long walk home, a mother's tear, a father's nod, a friend's patience, a chance you never thought you'd get again. And sometimes that's enough. Aman didn't become a hero. He didn't become famous. He didn't save a city. He didn't change the world. He just changed himself. And that is the kind of story the world needs more than anything. Because the truth is, every person has a moment when running is easy, and returning is hard. Asterisk asterisk. But the ones who choose to return, to their family, to their truth, to their responsibility, to their better self, they are the ones who rise. And maybe, so will you.